Well, hello everyone and welcome along to my second Doctor Who discussion video. I'm Elliot, I'm EMS Productions. Last time we looked back at Series 9. Today we're going to look to the future, look to Series 10. Not this year, but for 2017. Looking what's going on with Doctor Who at the moment, what are the prospects for 2017 Series 10, and with Chibnall coming in for Series 11 as well. And will Capaldi stay, please? So before we start, I just want to say thank you for all the positive responses to my Series 9 review video. Love reading all your comments and all your feedback. Nice to get quite a few views, and well, that's why I'm going to keep on doing them, because clearly at least some people are enjoying them, so carrying on with this one. Also, apologies, the background is a bit uninteresting, but I don't really have any decent Doctor Who posters and stuff, or my DVD collection is kind of in the wrong place to show off, so it's just kind of my room, but there you go. We're talking about Doctor Who, not my room, so it doesn't really matter. So we had the big news, 3 weeks ago now, I think? 3 weeks ago, with the Stephen Moffat's leaving, Chris Chibnall's coming in, and just at the bottom, also there's no series next year, but hopefully you won't notice that, we'll just sort of sugarcoat it with all the other changes, clearly because it's not good, but they tried to sort of... And then they did use the whole spin for national moments, which is all just completely made up rubbish. If they could, they would do a series this year, but, well, I didn't feel the same sort of frustration as a lot of people did. I saw a lot of comments, mainly on Facebook, but that's Facebook for you, where people were just saying, oh, this is a disgrace, why can't they make a series every year? But I've kind of known this was going to happen since August, because, I don't know, some of you may remember, was it Private Eye posted some article back at the start of August saying that there probably wasn't going to be a full series this year. And then through the months since, reading all the forums and stuff, and it was looking fairly clear there wouldn't be a series this year. And so when it was confirmed, I was just like, yeah, kind of what I expected really. And I think could do the show good. Of course, I've seen some people comparing this to the mid-1980s situation where it went off the air after Colin Baker's first season, then came back 18 months later, but it was all the same, and it still didn't get very high ratings, and it still didn't go very well, and then it obviously died 3 years later. And Colin Baker got sacked and then it died 3 years later. So there's kind of some sort of feeling like the same thing's happening again. We're having a nearly 18 months delay, and then it's all just going to be the same again. You're not going to get that reboot. But I think Moffat going for his going all out for his last series, I think it should be a good series with Capaldi there still as well. So, well, I'll come a bit more onto Series 10 a bit later, but obviously for this year, all we've got is a Christmas special. Well, and Class, don't forget Class, everybody's favourite Coal Hill School spin-off, coming soon to a online channel near you. It looks a very tenuous link to Doctor Who. I mean, it's a school that happens to be called Coal Hill School. That's literally the only link we've had so far. They haven't thrown in any characters, which is how the other spin-off started, with popular characters from the main series. But a school is not a popular character, it's just sort of like they were trying to stick this new idea and sticking a little bit of Doctor Who to it to try and get more viewers, and it just all seems a bit unnecessary, so that's a bit annoying, but it might be good, you never know, if you can actually watch it, because it's on BBC Three Online. That's terrible, they've done that, should not have done that. Well, BBC America if you're in America, great for you, but, well, not really, you have to pay for that, don't you? I don't even know, but, so, that and Sherlock is why there's no Doctor Who this year, because they can't film Sherlock, Class and Doctor Who and get it all out in the same year. It's just not happening, and Stephen Moffat might die if he tried to do that, I think. So, then there's just not enough space. But the break could do Doctor Who good. I mean, the reviewing figures were pretty poor, well, at least in the UK. I don't know if you've heard about it in other countries and stuff, but in the UK, comparatively, I think Series 9 was about just over 1 million people down on what it normally was. I mean, Series 8 averaged around 6 million, and then Series 9 was barely touching 5 million generally. So, despite the quality, which was fantastic, as I talked about in the last video, it just didn't have the people watching it, which was really disappointing at the time. So I think particularly moving into spring, that will make a big difference, because in the UK here there's a lot less competition on other TV channels and stuff, and obviously Series 1 to 5 were always shown in the spring, and they were the series that always had the best viewing figures. Obviously it was newer back then and there were less on demand and all this sort of stuff they try to make excuses for, so you can somewhat argue that. But then since it sort of moved later into the sort of autumn time, although maybe it's more enjoyable to watch with it getting dark in the evenings and stuff like that, it's all a bit meh. But in terms of viewing figures and the survival of Doctor Who, which is what we want the most, it should help. But obviously with Peter Capaldi still there, if people don't like Peter Capaldi, they're not going to come back until there's a new Doctor. So, but I'll come on to that later for Series 11 about whether Capaldi's staying after Moffat, but we'll have to see. So looking ahead to what's going on in Series 10, well, we know literally nothing at the moment, other than Moffat confirmed a few days back that there's going to be 14, there's 14 more episodes that he's overseeing, which most likely will be this year's Christmas special, 12 episode series, and the 2017 Christmas special. Although, I think that, well, a lot of this sort of depends, how it's going to work out depends on if Capaldi's leaving or not, because if he is, then if they end up tacking him onto a Christmas regeneration in a 1 hour episode, trying to fill all the Christmassy stuff, like he sort of worked with Matt Smith, but I think it's fair to say the time the Doctor could have done with an extra part, it was all a bit rushed, and it just didn't work that well, so I feel like if they try to do the same with Capaldi, it's just going to be a bit of a mess. In Moffat's last episodes, he'll throw everything at it, and trying to fit that all into like 57 minutes or something on Christmas Day with all the Christmas elements isn't going to work. So I kind of hope that this whole 14 episodes thing will mean that he's doing this year's Christmas special, and then they'll do a 13 episode series where he goes out with a bang, a super massive ending to his series, and he ends it in June, because particularly if he sort of has the series ending in June next year, and then we have to wait 6 months before he actually writes his last episode, so it's almost like he's hanging on. And then it might not be that good because he has to get all the Christmassy stuff and it just won't be perfect. The End of Time is an interesting one because I know a lot of people hate it. I really like it. I think it's quite a good episode. Yes, it's not the best, but it was clearly Russell was just going mental, throwing everything he could at it. I mean, even if you don't like it, you can clearly see that he just chucked anything he could at it, with the whole Gallifrey coming back, Time Lords, the Master, pretty much every companion got a cameo as well. And it was just an extravaganza. It worked to me, lots of people it didn't, but I feel like you need that 2 parts, 2.5 hours to really have the massive sort of ending for a showrunner who's going to throw everything at it. And so with Moffat, particularly Eliza did that kind of thing, I feel like if he's limited to just doing that in a 1 hour Christmas special, then it's just not going to work as well. So I kind of hope that he finishes with the 13 episode series in June, and then really the best thing would be to just scrap the 2017 Christmas special and get Chris Chibnall to come in and start the series from, I don't know, March 2018 or whenever it is for Series 11. But they're not going to do that because the BBC have to have a Christmas special for Doctor Who, pretty much. They will just force it to happen, so it will happen. But it's just not ideal for Chris Chibnall coming in to start with the Christmas special, because then you've got to sort of, you're very limited with what you can put in. Although, you do get more people watching at Christmas, so that could be a positive if he did write the Christmas special, because then more people will be able to see what his new writing style's like, and more people might be brought into the new series. But otherwise you could end up being too limited, and then it just looks like a naff Christmas episode before we can actually get properly started with the series in 2018. So personally, I don't think it'll happen, but personally I hope that Moffat finishes with Series 10 and doesn't do the Christmas special for 2017, just ends it in June or July whenever they have the end of the series, would be the best way to do it. In terms of what we're kind of expecting for Series 10, I'd say, in terms of things that are absolutely guaranteed, Missy will be back. I'm 100% sure she'll be back. She's like one of Moffat's sort of best characters, so she'll be there for sure. I was very surprised she didn't turn on Hellbent, to be honest, because with the whole Gallifrey coming back, end of the series, you felt like she should, but hopefully that means Moffat's holding her on for a massive plot line for the whole of Series 10 or something. And intertwined with hopefully Gallifrey, which I'm fairly confident is coming back, because it didn't feel like the end. It felt like we were almost getting teased with just a little bit of Gallifrey and Hellbent. We had like, what, 20-25 minutes of proper Gallifrey, and just that. So I hope that it sort of becomes a proper plot point, or we could start off with another sort of epic season opener with like a Gallifrey season opener, like we did have with the sort of Skara season opener this series. Wouldn't that be great to have Gallifrey back in it, and then they turn up again at the end or something and just have some big extravaganza of sorts. I don't know, I'm useless with the plot lines, but I'd love to see that kind of thing. So, and also, well, what other returning characters are we going to get? Because it's Moffat's last series, so he's going to bring all the old characters back. Well, don't know who, but he won't bring back Matt Smith. I'm 98% sure he won't come back. Clara or Ashilda, I think it's very unlikely because they were in Series 9. I think it's not out of the question that Amy and Rory could come back. It's unlikely. I don't know how you really fit it in without having Matt's Doctor there. It'd be difficult, but I'd say that they're more likely to come back than Clara, just because Clara was in Series 9. And it'd only be like, what, 10 or 12 episodes since she left that she's turning back up again. And I'm sure we'd get lots of people moaning if she did, because, oh, we just wanted to get rid of her because she's a terrible companion, even though she's not. But, yeah, so I'm not sure about that. Captain Jack, please bring back Captain Jack Moffat. Please, just give him an episode. You haven't written for him at all since, well, Series 1, 2005. You brought the character in, sort of. Well, Russell did quite a bit, I think, I can't remember, but you wrote for him first, so why don't you bring him back and give him one more episode? I think it's unlikely, like, I don't know, 30% chance or something. I'd say it's quite unlikely that he'll actually come back, but I'd love to see it because he's a classic character. He also did great in Torchwood and in Doctor Who, so he could bring him back. I'd love him to, but I just don't think he will. Just a bit disappointing. Also, Dalek story, or at least a Dalek cameo, is guaranteed. There will be Daleks. I can assure you today now that in 15 months' time you will be seeing Daleks because there's always Daleks. And I think the Cybermen will probably come back as well, and the Weeping Angels will be back as well because it's Moffat, his creation. He'll throw him in for one last story. Maybe they'll become the major plotline of the series because they're his villain. Or maybe the Silence could come back. Could they? Oh, I can't remember what happened to the end of them. They lost Pin Time the Doctor, didn't they? Well, I haven't watched Series 6 in like years. Okay, I can't remember. Anyway, well, they might come back, but you feel like he's going to bring, or at least he'll do references to like the Cracks in Time and the Silence and Impossible Girl and all his arcs and stuff. He'll try and throw little hints. He might even stick in a hybrid joke again just for the lols because everybody loves those. But no, he'll throw everything at it. I do hope that they stick with lots of two-parters because I think that works a lot better. I mean, we've been missing cliffhangers, and then we got, I think maybe there was one too many two-parters in series 9. I think the best sort of schedule, sort of plan for a series in my books would be a 2-part series opener, then a couple of standalones, then a 2-part 5 and 6, and then 7, 8 and 9 as standalones, and then a 3-part finale if it's a 12-episode series. A 3-part finale, I think 3-part finales sort of just making it big, maybe making a little bit more, because obviously Series 9 they weren't very connected really. They just sort of followed on from each other. And well, actually I saw a comment saying that actually none of the cliffhangers in Series 9, when they actually, the next episode came, they never actually followed straight on from the cliffhanger. They always started somewhere completely different with the sort of opening sequences and stuff. So each cliffhanger was almost sort of not actually resolved straight away like usually used to be in previous years, particularly with Russell T Davies' era. You'd always get the cliffhanger solved instantly as soon as the episode starts again, whereas they went a very different route there. So that's quite interesting. But yeah, I think 3-part finales work really well. Make them a bit more sort of linked this for Series 10 than they were for Series 9, and throw in anything he likes because he's Moffat, and you know he will. He'll probably do some sort of female regeneration thing again, I imagine, or something. He'll just do something controversial and funny, and just because he can, he'll do something like that. He'll say, like, I don't know, he'll sort of define it the Doctor's just human or something stupid. He'll just change something in the lore and the sort of history of the show just for the fun of it because he can. It's his last series. He doesn't care about the hate he gets after he leaves, so you can imagine him doing something like that really. But we'll have to wait and see. Also looking at the new companion, we still have no idea who the new companion is going to be. They're also going to have to announce it soon because I believe it's May, I think it is, when filming starts. Although according to some Radio Times article, they haven't even auditioned for the companion, which I find hard to believe. But because as soon as Jenna Coleman, like Stephen Moffat, knew that she was leaving, then he would have been at least starting to think about people who he wanted to play the character. So I'm sure he's got a fairly good idea. If not, they've already cast her. Or probably her, we've got to assume it's her because it always is, as the companion. So yeah, in terms of the companion, it'll be interesting to see if Moffat chooses to bring them in the Christmas special, or whether introduce the character there and then just sort of get going for the series rather than what we've had in previous sort of companion starting series. You almost somewhat lose the first episode to introducing the companion, just doing a repeat of what we've seen many times with, oh look, this is the TARDIS, it's bigger on the inside. Yes, it's a nice moment, but it does feel like it sort of almost takes up an episode, particularly now we've lost one, all compared to the sort of series 1 to 7, sort of from 13 to 12. So then suddenly when you actually got 11 episodes sort of left properly to do it. So I kind of hope that they introduce the new companion in the Christmas special this year, get them all set up and sorted to go, and then for the series 10 we can just launch straight into the first adventures and it'll be all good. I think that she'll probably be, well, from what Peter Capaldi I think it was saying, was they wanted a young sort of Earth girl yet again because that's what they always do, but I think someone a little less confident, someone more like you used to have with Rose, at least series 1 Rose, a bit more like that than Clara, who was instantly super confident and perfect as lots of people criticise her for, when she clearly wasn't, but that's sort of what people like to criticise her for. So I think that it's likely we'll get a character a bit more like Rose, but maybe they'll go a different route. But I think it's unlikely we'll get anything other than a young Earth girl, because that's just how Doctor Who seems to run at the moment, which is a little bit disappointing. A little bit of variety. Have a TARDIS team again. Back in the old 80s, they used to have 4 or 5 people. That was maybe a bit overcrowded and struggled to write the companions as well, but a little bit more interesting. Or even just, you had Amy and Rory, and obviously, so that's a little three-way combo team. Or at least, couldn't they have a male companion as the prime companion for once, rather than, because we haven't had that in New Who yet at all. The last time that happened was, what, when they were the main companion. Well, Turlo in the 80s wasn't really the main companion, was he? Nor was Adric. They were all sort of joint. So really only Jamie has been the proper, in the 60s, was the proper main male companion. It's always been, a female companion has been the main companion, and then, because Amy and Rory, Amy was the main one, and then Rory was sort of secondary and stuff. Even when Captain Jack was in for a few episodes, he wasn't the main companion, so I feel like just have a change, try something different, do that. But you don't need to make the Doctor female. You don't need to do that. It's not necessary. Just do it with a companion, because you can. It's just a normal person. It's not like the Doctor. It's all a bit different with him. So I hope they do, but I'm sure it'll just be another Earth girl. But it could be alright. We'll have to wait and see. So now, Peter Capaldi. Is he leaving? Is he going to regenerate at the end of Series 10 or Christmas 2017? I really, really hope not, but it wouldn't surprise me. He's probably my favourite incarnation of the Doctor now after Series 9. It wasn't... Series 8, he was okay. I wouldn't have said he was my favourite. I did enjoy him, but it wasn't my favourite. And then Series 9, he is to level 1, and now I would say he's definitely my favourite. Definitely from the new series, probably overall. I'd say he's my favourite Doctor, so I really don't want to see him go, particularly after only having 3 seasons, and he just feels like... Because a lot of the previous younger ones have always been like, oh, I need to lead toward getting typecast or that kind of thing, but Peter Capaldi's like 55, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he's not going to get typecast anymore. He doesn't care. He's a massive fan of the show. He probably wants to stay there as long as he can if he could. But I feel like with Moffat going, then they might want to sort of have a complete reboot for Series 11 in 2018, sorry, with Chris Chibnall coming in. Because obviously, although it's a reboot in terms of there's a new writer, when you've still got the same Doctor there, that's the main thing that the casual audience at least are sort of looking at or are going to watch it for, the main characters, rather than whoever's writing it, unless it is the most well-known writer ever or something, like J.K. Rowling or whoever you like. You might be in writing for Series 10, being rumours around, don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But Moffat said there was a couple of huge writers or something. But yeah, so with terms of Capaldi regenerating, it does make sense, because I think it's fair to say, maybe people disagree, but at least in the UK, to the casual audience, Peter Capaldi hasn't been a great Doctor to them. He's been a bit grumpy, a bit sort of, at least this was more the Series 8 perception, that he wasn't really a nice Doctor, a sort of easy to like, easy to know, easy to sort of understand Doctor. And so that sort of put a lot of people off, particularly for Series 9. We can see when suddenly it's only getting 4.5 million viewers compared to 6.5 for Series 8 and like pushing 8 million for Series 5, 6 and 7. It's been a bit of a decline. And I think, and so unless there's a change in Doctor, you feel like most people aren't going to come back. And so that's why with Chris Chibnall coming in, that they might just feel, let's go the whole way with a full reboot. Maybe the new companion will just be a 1 series companion from Moffat, because Chibnall will probably want to start again. He's probably got new ideas to bring in, a new way of doing it, like Moffat did with effectively the reboot from series, well, the End of Time to Series 5 from the specials there. So I feel like, although I really, really hope it doesn't happen, and Peter Capaldi is amazing, he should stay. He can carry the show, at least for the proper fans, but I just feel like that's probably what's going to happen. He's going to get, I think, if he could, he'd stay for ages, at least another 3 or 4 series. Why can't he go and break, because then we get stuck with this stupid 3 series rule again, which just happened with what? The last, well, it would have happened with, because sort of David Tennant, because he did a few specials, well, Matt Smith did a couple of specials as well. So and loads of the classic Doctors also did 3 series, so it's kind of getting this stuck in this 3 series rule that supposedly you can't do more than 3 series unless your name's Tom Baker and you have to leave, pretty much. And it just sort of, it would just reinforce that if someone like Peter Capaldi, who you feel could stay for years, is going to do that, that even if he's getting a bit shoved out, then it would just be sort of really disappointing for that. But I hope that at least, if it is going to happen, that he sort of makes the decision and doesn't have a Colin Baker and gets just sacked from the show because it's not so popular with him. because at least globally I think it's ever growing. That's what Moffat's probably done the most for the show in terms of making it a big thing around the world, because although Russell T Davies did a great job at least in the UK, it was massively followed in the UK, probably more than it is now in the RTD years. But then once Moffat came in, it really, obviously it was helped with the sort of developing technology and everything, and the sort of promotion of the wider world and stuff. But he really made it an international show rather than just a British show with a little bit of an American following and a little bit for the around the world following. It's big in most countries now to some degree, and that's probably the greatest success Moffat's had, and why it's very unlikely, at least we hope, that Doctor Who should be finishing sometime soon, because it's so popular around the world. Now with Top Gear gone, it's the BBC's biggest moneymaker pretty much, I think. Well, Top Gear's coming back, but it won't be as good because Clarkson and Hammond and May are all gone. They've all gone on Amazon, so it won't be the same. So I think Doctor Who, maybe not in viewing figures, but in terms of like merchandise, I mean, we all buy the DVDs and the clothes and all the tat that they throw us, the action figures, anything. We'll buy it all, so they can make so much money off that even if it's not getting the greatest viewers, they can still keep it going. They'll start sticking it on Tuesday nights and we'll still watch. But then they'll start sticking it on Sunday mornings and we'll still watch. And then eventually it will get to a worse situation. But yes, that's one of Moffat's greatest strengths. But anyway, Capaldi, please don't go. He should stay on, we need to get it trending on Twitter, hashtag Capaldi till 2020. We need to start a campaign to keep him here for the next 5 years at least. 4 years, 5 years. Because he's just so good. He's the Doctor. He's the Doctor. I know it sounds a bit stupid, but my friend, who's very much a casual fan, he watches it when it's on. He's seen most of the new Who, and he said that Capaldi is absolutely the best Doctor there's ever been as far as he's concerned. He's the most like the Doctor. He is just the definitive sort of version of the Doctor. He's just got it right, and Moffat's writing combined with Capaldi, and it all just works so well. So it would be interesting to see finally two different showrunners write the same Doctor, because obviously it all changed from Russell's. Well, of course Moffat wrote David Tennant for an episode, but it's not the same when you only wrote for a one-off special. But it'd be nice to have Chris Chibnall's take on Capaldi's Doctor and see how it varies. Maybe if he lightens the character or makes it a bit darker, because Broadchurch is quite dark, but I'll come to that a bit later. But yeah, so it would be great to see what he can do, and I feel like Capaldi might get a bad exit really because of the way it's scheduled, and with him just maybe even getting just a one sort of short Christmas special like Matt did, and then just going out in that just wouldn't be the sort of ending that he deserves to have really, I feel. So even if it is Moffat's last episode, I prefer that Capaldi went, if he was going to go next year, I'd prefer that he went at the end of Series 10 in June or so, episode 12, rather than at the Christmas special, because I just don't think Christmas regenerations, unless they've got the two parts like The End of Time did, I don't think they work so well. So obviously please don't go, but if he does, then do it in Series 10, don't do it at Christmas, because it doesn't work that well at Christmas on a one-off. So well, the other major part of the announcement, I've covered it a bit before, but is obviously that Chris Chibnall is coming in for Series 11, taking over from Stephen Moffat, who, I love Stephen Moffat, he's amazing. He's written some of my favourite episodes ever. Heaven Sent, obviously. The Series 6 only two-parter, Impossible Natural, Day of the Moon. They're some of my absolute favourites as well. Day of the Doctor is just brilliant, isn't it? Let's be honest. Deep Breath is really underrated, actually. I watched that back a couple of weeks ago, and that's really good. I think Listen and Blink are a little bit overrated, in my opinion. I don't think they're the most amazing thing ever. At least Blink, I don't think it is. Listen, don't think is as highly rated generally, but I think I just didn't get that much out of it really. I do like the whole last 10 minutes with the Clara and the bard and stuff, but I really just didn't work that well for me. So, but then he's just, and also the 11th Hour, love that. Pandora Opens Big Bang, probably the best. Certainly Moffat's probably still best finale overall, because although Heaven Sent is amazing, Hellbent sort of brings it down. I'd say overall, when you combine it, it's just a little bit below Pandora Opens Big Bang. So he's written so many amazing things. I'm not saying Russell's bad. Russell wrote some great episodes. I'm not one of those people who loves one showrunner and hates the other. I like them all. I get, well, both. Well, I'm just sticking with New Who here because it was all a bit different than the classic series. I've seen a lot of it, but it's all a bit different, so I'm just focusing on New Who here. And Russell written some of my favourites is the two-parter to end Series 1, Bad Wolf Parting the Ways. That is as such, might even be my favourite finale of New Who. I'm not sure. I need to rewatch them all again really to sort of get a definitive answer, but certainly it's top 3 of my sort of favourite finales. And although I think the one thing that Moffat definitely did better than Russell was season openers, because Russell kind of wrote them as very sort of small, often comedic a little bit, sort of funny episodes just to get the series started really, whereas Moffat has usually thrown in with a big sort of blockbuster episode to really get the series going, get you excited, get you straight into the series rather than this sort of slightly fluffy sort of starting episodes that aren't so great, which Russell did. But then I think Russell's wrote some great finales as well, and some of the Midnight's actually a really good episode. Haven't seen it recently, but it is pretty good. And Turn Left, that I love that. Such a good episode, sort of what happens if Donna makes a different choice, and then all the sort of, if the Doctor wasn't there, how bad it'd all go, and just how it's all just sort of works out is such a great idea. And I think The Stolen Earth and Journey's End is a little bit underrated. I mean, I can see all the flaws with it. Obviously, just flicking a few switches makes the Dalek spin around and it all blows up, and it's all a bit Deus Ex Machina, I think the thing is called. I can't remember. I can't speak French, so I think it's French. But also the Stolen Earth cliffhanger where the Doctor's regenerating, because I'm fairly sure at the time David Tennant just announced he was leaving, and there hadn't been any preview copies, so no one was actually certain, or at least if there hadn't been, whether he was going to regenerate or not. And I think that's probably the best cliffhanger of Doctor Who as far as I'm concerned. Obviously the resolution was terrible, but the actual cliffhanger itself, with that shock of the Doctor's regenerating, surely nothing's ever because previously we've never had a regeneration that hasn't happened. Every time he started regenerating, he has regenerated, and we had no idea who the new Doctor was going to be. So that was just a absolutely brilliant cliffhanger. I'd love it if they did a surprise regeneration just once, because obviously with Capaldi they did a whole BBC One TV show building it up, and all you can bet on these people being the Doctor, and then sort of doing a massive reveal thing. And I feel like, try something different, don't publicise it at all, just have it as a season finale, a massive shock, suddenly Peter Capaldi's regenerated into someone completely new, completely unexpected, you didn't know who he was going to be, you didn't know he was going to regenerate. Don't send out any preview copies and stuff so it doesn't leak in the media, sort out all the security and stuff so it doesn't leak, and it would be absolutely amazing to actually see a shock regeneration, because we never had that. Obviously they always publicise it to try and get in the viewing figures, which is why I think it probably won't ever happen, because they always make it a massive thing, publicise it so that people will watch more people will watch, because some people do just watch for the regeneration, see a new Doctor, see it all change, endings, that's why finales always get bigger viewing figures, because it's the last episode or it's the first episode. So I feel like it'd be very surprised if they would do that, but I wish they would. It would be great to see. But anyway, go off a bit of a tangent here. So I do love Moffat. I do really like Russell. I don't have anything against either of them. They've both done great work for the show, and I'm looking forward. But it is time for a change. Moffat's doing, this will be his 6th series. I think, yes, he had some great ideas in Series 9, but I feel like he can't go on much longer, and it'll be nice to have something of a change, something different. Someone else for the haters to moan at and say, oh, it was amazing when Moffat was here, even though they were hating on them now. Because I'm sure loads of people will do that, because they're all hypocritical and stupid and everything. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, if you haven't seen Broadchurch, go and watch it. It is brilliant. I know there's some people saying, oh, it's not so great, but I really do think it is a fantastic... yes, Series 2 is okay, it's not the greatest, but Series 1 is absolutely brilliant. Such a great murder mystery, and the whole sort of how all the characters are written so well. That, I think, is probably one of Chris Chibnall's greatest strengths, is writing a large amount of interesting, well-rounded characters who you actually care about. And I mean, even in some of his Doctor Who episodes, I remember a Hungry Earth, Cold-Blooded Hungry Earth episode. He, like, was it Nazreen or something? I think that the woman who stayed down with the Silurians at the end, she was written really well, and a lot of the characters in his episodes are written really well. So I think, like, when he comes in, whereas maybe I'm being unfair, but maybe you could say that Moffat, other than the main characters, hasn't always written some of the more minor characters of the episodes so great. Maybe he's not necessarily lazy, but just hasn't sort of put so much into some of the more minor characters. Please, maybe I'm just making it all up and you disagree with me, feel free. But that's my opinion. So I feel like we might get more character-based stories. Like, I'm thinking that the Chris Chibnall era will be more like the Russell T Davies era than the Moffat era. I think... sorry. I think it'll be more like that, with more sort of the family's built around the main, like the companion, like when we used to have all Jackie and Mickey, and then Pete came in as well, and the whole sort of family set, the families around the characters, which Moffat hasn't really done, other than, what was it, Rory's dad Brian, and Clara's gran, who was in about 2 episodes, Amy's parents who were in the end of the Big Bang, and then you never see them again. So this is the sort of thing that Moffat writes, sort of the family characters for an episode, and then just sort of forgets about them. We never see them again. We never saw any Clara's family again. Danny Pink. He was okay. He wasn't really a family member because he's like Clara's boyfriend, but he was alright. But yeah, it wasn't great. So I think that that's probably one of the main things where Chibnall could do a better job than Moffat in terms of writing lots of characters better. Although I'd say plot-wise, it's hard to say what Chris Chibnall and how Chibnall's going to do it, because while Moffat's very much a unique style of sort of plot, and I'd say with its complex arcs and all these sort of things, which I really like, so I'd be a little bit disappointed if Chris Chibnall goes back to the old, oh look, they've mentioned Bad Wolf again, oh look, there's Bad Wolf again, oh Torchwood, Saxon, let's just keep mentioning the bees are disappearing, let's just mention buzzwords throughout the series as an arc, when it's not really an arc, it's just a recurring word. So I kind of hope that Chibnall doesn't do that and he goes for a more interesting arc, because you have to do arcs in Doctor Who now. You just do. You didn't need to in the classic series because they were just sort of standalone serials, but nowadays you do with TV how it is and everything. So I hope that he does it properly if he's going to, but we'll have to see. And I think let's come back to Broadchurch. It is, if you haven't seen it already, I'd very much recommend, if you're a bit sort of unsure about Chris Chibnall, go and watch it. At least series 1. Series 2 isn't so great. It was never going to live up to series 1, the hype of it. And if you'll be watching series 1, you're 8 episodes, you won't know until, you won't really be sure until at least episode 7 out of 8 who the killer is. You really won't. And it's just such a great resolution. The whole plot is planned so well. It's got cliffhangers every episode. It's great. He loves a cliffhanger. He said, I saw a document on one of the documentaries doing that. He said, oh, I love a great cliffhanger. I always brought on Doctor Who, so I love cliffhangers. And so, yeah, just go and watch it. You can get it for like 10, 12 quid off Amazon or something. Give it a try and see what you think, because despite maybe Chris Chibnall hasn't done such great Doctor Who episodes, I think it's fair to say, unlike Moffat, who was an obvious successor, Chris Chibnall just sort of hasn't. He's written, what, 42, which was okay, based on Siege pretty much, I think. And it was real time as well, so that was quite an interesting sort of concept. Hungry Earth and Cold Blood, I think that's a little bit underrated. It's sort of, it's kind of a rehash of the Doctor and the Silurians, because it's called that for stupid reasons, from the 70s. So, but really, with a Silurian story, there's not that much you can actually do with it, other than, this used to be our world, we want it back, we're suddenly going to come up after thousands of years and try and take over the world again, because that's who we are. Let's all live together. Oh wait, it's never going to work, so then they all just blow them up and everything. So that's kind of the plot of Doctor and the Silurians and Hungry Earth / Cold Blood. But he did what he could with it, and then obviously Dinosaurs in a Spaceship. Good bit of fun. It's a solid episode. It's not one of my favourites, but I don't dislike it. It's fairly good. It's got Brian in there, good old Brian Williams, I think. Or is he Brian Pond? I can't remember. But Brian's such a good character. I'd love to see a return from him. There's no reason to bring him back, but I think Moffat should just do that for Series 10 just because he can. Be entertaining to see again. And then Chibnall also wrote The Power of Three, which up to the last 5-10 minutes was a good episode. Really did quite like that. He brought back Unit, obviously, with Kate Stewart and everything. He brought that back, so if he might be able to write Unit a bit better, because I think it's fair enough to criticise Moffat as saying that Unit are a bit useless now. Or at least they were shown as units in The Magician's Apprentice. Not so much in the Zygons two-parter. They're a little bit better, but when Magician's Apprentice and Clara just comes in, takes over, and has on the military tactics and announced that the military should have, and she's a school teacher and she's just taken over, so that's a bit poorly written there, but it's just sort of set the episode up. But I think that Chibnall could do a better job of that. So obviously Power of Three, the last 5 minutes, it was too rushed. It was a terrible resolution, and it should have had a second part to properly do it, but it was Series 7A, that not very mediocre series, which just wasn't very good, and only had 5 episodes, which didn't help either, which is why I hate split series. And I'm actually quite pleased that Series 10 wasn't half in November and December and half in February and March next year, because I love just a constant run of episodes when you don't have to sort of have 5 or 6 episodes, half of them are a bit rubbish, then suddenly you've only got 3 decent episodes in the space of 6 months, and it's all just a bit disappointing. So I like that sort of constant run, and really you can build up the sort of, if there's a proper series arc as well, like with series 5 with the Cracks in Time, you can really build that up properly through the series rather than through the episodes, rather than with series 6 where it was all a bit disjointed and you kind of forgot about the Doctor dying by the time you got to 6B, I think it's 6, yeah, the second half of series 6. And then with series 7 it just didn't work very well either, so yeah, that's something I'm pleased about. But coming back to Chris Chibnall, he's written some really good Torchwood episodes. Obviously he's written some terrible ones, Cyberwoman and Day One. Don't watch those, kids. If you're under 15, don't watch them, but they're pretty terrible. But then he did showrun pretty much series 2 of Torchwood. I was looking, I hadn't actually realised how many episodes he'd written of series 2, and he wrote Countryside from series 1. That's really good. It's a bit disturbing. Wouldn't watch that if you're like 10 years old, but it's really good and really dark actually. Yeah, with the whole cannibals and stuff. Whew. But then series 2, I hadn't realised that Russell T Davies now actually wrote in the episodes of series 2 of Torchwood. I'd never paid attention to that before. I looked, and Chris Chibnall's written about 6 of the episodes. I think maybe Russell wrote like the first 5 minutes of the first episode or something. I can't remember. I read that somewhere. Maybe I'm wrong. But and then Chris Chibnall basically wrote like a series runner, right in the opener, a few in the middle, and then he wrote the last 3 episodes, including the heartbreaking finale for series 2, which is probably still the sort of, for me, the saddest moment in the Whoniverse and the whole sort of Doctor universe, and the one thing that really made me tear up was that moment when, spoiler alert, Owen and Tosh die. That was just heartbreaking. So I think we might get a few heartbreaking moments with Chris Chibnall. I think he's clearly good at writing those sort of heartbreaking endings. So that'll be something to look forward to, or not maybe. But so I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic about what he's going to bring to the show. I mean, it's very hard to say what ideas he's going to have, because whereas Moffat had already set up the River Song arc and he'd written loads of great episodes before, so we had some sort of an idea of what he's going to do. But with Chris Chibnall, he hasn't written for the show in 3... Well, when he starts, he won't have written for the show for 5 years unless he writes an episode for Series 10, which I really think he should, like with Moffat, with Science of Library and the Forest of the Dead. He should write an episode, maybe a 2-parter, that sets up a character or 2, or just sets up something for his era, so he's not completely starting from scratch and got nothing to play with. And having not written for Doctor Who for 5 years, then it could get a bit difficult. And it's all very much a leap into the unknown, so yeah, that'll be interesting. Although then the problem is that Chris has been writing Broadchurch at the moment, and they're filming that. I think it's probably the last series, I do assume so, but I think it was meant to be a trilogy, so I'm really looking forward to Broadchurch Series 3, can't wait for that. I'll probably be out at the same time as Doctor Who by then, at least Series 10 or 2 I imagine, but so yeah, that's starting filming I think in May as well actually, so we'll have, well, Sherlock's starting filming in like a month or 2, and then Class in a couple of months as well, and then Broadchurch and Doctor Who, so we got 4 great TV programmes. At least I really like Sherlock, Doctor Who and Broadchurch, and I'm optimistic about Class, as I said earlier, so it might be difficult for him with the filming of it from May through to like, I don't know, November or something, but I'd imagine as soon as he's finished with Broadchurch he'll get straight onto Doctor Who, because they'll want to be filming in May 2017, Series 11 of Doctor Who. They'll want to start May or June, and if he's not finishing, obviously he can start work on it once he's finished writing the scripts, which I imagine he's nearly done by now. But in terms of actually sort of properly working on the show, he's probably only going to have 8 or 9 months from finishing of filming and Broadchurch until he starts filming Doctor Who. So yeah, it's not going to be easy for him, but I'm sure he's been planning this for some time. I'm sure it's not just like in the last month they said, oh, can you do it for us? Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm sure like at least a year ago I'd imagine he's been approached. And I'm sure he's been known it for like 3 or 4 months that it was going to happen. So he's obviously had a few ideas, which I'm sure he'll been planning out while he's doing Broadchurch. He'll be planning that out as well. So I'm optimistic. But we've still got one more series of Moffat, which I can't wait for, even if it's going to be a year, then, which is disappointing. But I'm starting a super slow Doctor Who rewatch at the moment. I'll series New Who rewatch, just a couple of episodes a week. I'm watching Aliens of London tonight. That Slitheen 2-parter. That is underrated. Maybe I'm wrong, I haven't watched it in a few years, and maybe it is terrible, but as far as I remember, it always has, I have a soft spot for that episode. Slitheen are a bit, yeah, they're a bit sort of childish and stupid. But I always love an Earth-based story, and the whole sort of, I can't really remember it very well now, but yeah, the pig running through, and then sort of the fake spaceship crashing into the Big Ben and stuff. So yeah, I might do a video in the future why that two-parter is so underrated, because I think it is. Along with The End of Time, that's so underrated. And so then I'm hoping to do, at the end of every series that I watch, which will be every 6 or 7 weeks or so, because I'm doing it very slowly to take us up to the April 2017, and a bit of Classic Who's interspersed in that as well. But in terms of this new Who, I'm going to try and do a sort of retrospective review of each series as I finish watching them. So that'll be maybe mid-March, end of March or something. Then I'll probably do a Series 1 sort of retrospective review, looking back on the series and what I've remembered it from before, whether my opinions have improved or whether I thought it's got worse, having rewatched it now. Obviously the special effects aren't so great, but... And also I've got the whole Doctor Who Confidentials, lots of illegal online places, shush. I found every episode, like the TV version of every Doctor Who Confidential episode, so I'm going to watch those for you as well. Because a lot of them are quite interesting. Yes, by Series 5 or 6 they're a bit terrible, but I still love a bit behind the scenes. I'm a big media person kind of thing. Behind the scenes of TV interests me, so watching those all back as well. But yeah, hopefully I'll be getting those videos out for you. And let me know what you're doing to fill the gap. If you're doing a marathon, let me know what your marathon... If it's Doctor Who, if it's not, let me know what TV show you're watching if it's Doctor Who. Are you going to go and watch... I know someone, I can't remember, was it Justin? Please correct me if you were wrong, but you were watching the whole of, like, from 1963 through to The Husband of a River Song. Pretty impressive if you can do that in the space of, what, 15 months or 14 months. I mean... There's a lot of, there's like 826, 27 episodes now, I think, something like that. Quite a few to watch, and like 250 odd serials. So you've got to basically watch a serial at least every couple of days. And when you've got the 12 part starting master plan from the 60s, then and when it's like 5 hours or Trial of a Time Lord, yeah, that's underrated as well. I watched that a few weeks back. Well, people said it was terrible, but it's actually not that terrible. So I'd recommend, if you haven't seen it before, go watch it, because it's actually quite good. Well, the conclusion isn't so good, but the first 12 parts are quite interesting. And then, yeah, it kind of fell apart at the end, and the conclusion was a bit unsatisfying and stuff. Anyway, going off topic. So yeah, let me know all that. And, well, that's pretty much the video. I thought I'd just give a quick update on the music of Doctor Who and the likes. So, Series 9 soundtrack. Nothing's been officially confirmed yet. I know people have been messaging the Silver Screen Twitter account. I don't know if anybody who does it is watching my videos, but... Don't bother. I'm not getting at anybody. If you're watching my video and you feel like I'm getting at you for pestering Silver Screens, please, I'm not trying to pester you, but messaging them saying, well, when is it going to be released? You can announce something soon. It's not going to make any difference to the speed that it gets announced. So I feel like we just need to sit and wait. Once they have something to tell us, they'll tell us. My gut feeling is it probably won't be until at least April, probably May. It was May last year. So and it's the same distance since the last episode this time around, because obviously Christmas again. So I'd say April or May is probably when we like to get the soundtrack. It's a bit disappointing wait, but it's what we have to do. We have to wait for things. It would have been a better idea if they'd sort of come out at the same time as the DVD release or Blu-ray release of the Series 9. That would have been a better idea. A bit of marketing, a bit of promotion. You can have the soundtrack. You can get the soundtrack and the DVD or the Blu-ray in one box set for 45 quid or something, 40 quid. Save a bit of money. Could have sold it off there. We might much better, but I guess sometimes you just can't get them out in time, so be patient, guys. The Series 9 soundtrack will come, but we just got to wait for it. We've got to be patient. I'll keep my videos coming, my unreleased music. That's not going to stop. I'll keep bringing it to you, so let's just be patient. And one other thing I was going to say, with Chris Chibnall coming in, there is the possibility that he might want to bring in a new composer, because by that point Murray Gold will have done 10 series in, what, 12, 13 years of doing Doctor Who, probably since he started scoring it in 2004, I'd imagine. So he'd be, and through to 2017 near enough he'll be scoring, so that's a long time to do Doctor Who. And so it's possible, Chris Chibnall might be happy to sort of work with Murray Gold. Maybe he'll want to bring someone different in. But I'd love to see Murray Gold stay. He's fantastic. He's done such great work for Doctor Who. Heaven Sent, the soundtrack, is probably the best he's ever done, so I'd love him to stay. But if he's going to go, then I'd love to see Oliver Arnold. You might not have heard of him. He scored Broadchurch, so he knows Chris Chibnall well. They've worked together on the show. And that is quite possible. The Broadchurch soundtrack is quite possibly my favourite score or soundtrack to anything I've ever heard. It is just, it's a little bit depressing. I will say, if you're going to go listen to it, you have to go listen to it. It's a little bit depressing. It's not like Doctor Who or upbeat action music, because it's obviously talking over a crime drama, murder mystery kind of thing. So it's all a little bit miserable. but it is just so good. Oliver Arnold, I love all of his music. All his soundtracks and everything he's done is just absolutely amazing. So I'd really recommend that. Obviously I've done a few Broadchurch videos, but if you just go and check out the soundtrack for that and see if you like it, because if Marigold's going, I'd love to see him in. Maybe he wouldn't be so suited for the show because it's not such a depressing show or sort of feel to the show like Doctor Who, like Broadchurch is. But if Murray goes, I'd love to see him in, because you never want to get someone like Hans Zimmer or some of the film guys. So there's no one obvious really that I sort of know of who's going to come in and do it. So maybe they'll bring him in. Maybe Marigold will stick around for another 5 years. Who knows? But we can enjoy we've got eight soundtracks, sort of. Well, actually we've got like 10 or 12 or something. But 8 series worth of soundtracks. With a Series 9 soundtrack should be coming for soonish. So there's lots of Doctor Who music to enjoy, and I'll keep doing the unreleased music for you. So one other thing I was just going to mention was a little sort of channel update, if you like, because at the moment I'm obviously doing Torchwood episode of music each Monday, bit of Broadchurch on a Wednesday, and Doctor Who anyone else pretty much. This should be coming out on Sunday the 14th. Oh, Valentine's Day, my favourite day of the year, yeah. Oh dear. Well, the day when, if you're not in a relationship, you can be depressed, so that's a great day, which I always am. But so hopefully this will be something nice for you to enjoy on a slightly depressing evening, or morning the next day, depends where you're in the world. But yeah, anyway, this will be coming out then, and I'm planning maybe once I finish with the Torchwood episodes of music, I might, if I've got the motivation and can put in the effort, start doing every single Doctor Who episode, doing a full episode of music. It would only be one a week, so it would take like 3 years to do the whole thing. But the aim would kind of be so that, let's say in 3 years' time, this channel is a place where you can find every single track of music ever used in Doctor Who, any episode, obviously in a full video, and then I can, if you want a certain bit, I can just upload that separately. But let me know if you're interested in that. I'm hopefully going to start doing it. That'll be like 8 weeks, so that's April, May, something like that. I might start it then. Once I finish Torchwood episodes of music, I might start it with the track list and everything. But I'll try and throw in the soundtrack tracks to mix it in with it as well, to make it a more complete, nicer listen, rather than, because some of my older Torchwood ones are pretty terrible. I'll admit, no track lists, no using the soundtrack, it's not great. So apologies if you go back and watch those, or some of the older Doctor Who ones. I know the 11th Hour, that's a bit of a terrible video, and Journey's End, that's not great. But anyway, so let me know if you want that, because if people are interested in it and people want it, then that gives me the motivation to do it. Because if no one's watching it, then it's like I'm somewhat struggling with the Torture videos, because I'm literally getting 15 views on them and 1 like if I'm lucky. So it's sort of becomes a bit of a grind to keep on doing it. So I'd love to see more support on my videos, and then you'll get more content, because I enjoy making it most of the time, but sometimes it's just a bit. But if people are liking it and loving it, then I'm going to keep on doing it. So let me know what you think. Let me know whatever you like, what you thought of this video, what you think for Series 10. I'm sure lots of people are disappointed there's no series in 2016, but that's just how it is. What do you think's going to happen in Series 10? Are you looking forward to Chris Chibnall? What do you think of Broadchurch? What do you think of his previous Doctor episodes? Do you think it'd be any good? Are you happy Moffat's leaving? Are you thinking that Doctor Who's finally going to start again after Russell T Davies because Moffat killed Doctor Who? Is Peter Capaldi going to leave? Do you like Peter Capaldi? Do you think he's going to come and go? Whatever. Let me know your thoughts. Series 9 soundtrack. Do you like Oliver Arnold? Do you like his music for Broadchurch? Are you gonna... whatever. Let me know about my new videos that I might do. So yeah, just let me know. This is a... well, it's not a community channel, I do it. But I want to make videos that you enjoy, so I want to make all the music... well, I don't make the music, just sort of edit the music for you. And if you keep asking for it, I'll keep doing it. I try to do requests whenever I get them. I've got like 6 videos scheduled at the moment, because I just do them all in one night and schedule them for the next week. So that's why I always say they'll be up on Friday or up on Tuesday. I could release them tonight, but on the day. But I prefer to have a proper schedule for it, so you don't get 6 videos on one day and then nothing for the rest of the week. I like to space it out a bit. So that's why sometimes you might have to wait a little bit longer than maybe necessary for your requested videos. But I'll make you wait, you'll enjoy it more, yeah? So I always try to do as many requests as possible. We've got, what, No, I'm away. I'm on holiday. Well, there won't be another one of these discussion videos next weekend. I hope to do one in a couple of weeks. Let me know if you'd like me to sort of... I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, so I have to see. But would you like me to sort of review a terrible episode? I don't know. Maybe sit down and watch Fear Her or The Twin Dilemma or Time Lash or something, and then make me give my opinions on that, because it'll be really quite entertaining seeing how terrible some of the weakest Doctor Who is. That'd be quite good. Or you want me to review something good, or just something completely different you want me to do? I don't know. Let me know if you've got any video ideas or things you'd like to see from me, because I've got some ideas. I'm not certain. I think all these series reviews I'm going to do, but yeah, let me know. Right, this video's dragging a bit now. I think we should end it. So I hope you enjoyed it. All my discussions of the future of Doctor Who. We've looked at back in the past at Series 9, and now we've looked into the future at Series 10 and 11 and forevermore and everything. So hope you enjoyed it. I'm Elliot. I'm EMS Productions. Remember to like and subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you next time for another Doctor Who discussion video. Bye!